Hey everybody, this is Adrienne with Weddings to Infinity, the Q&A about planning your wedding. Thank you for joining us. Well, we will continue with CiCi's questions. She, of course, like I said last week, she had some great ones. So this week, her questions are about what she did not want at her wedding. I don't want it. So let's get started. I love those questions coming in via our email to info2 at Weddings to Infinity. I will pop over to any others that come in while we are live. So here we go with I don't wanna. So she said, I don't want a wedding party. So do I need to have a rehearsal dinner for my family if I don't have a wedding party? Well, again, I love doing research. I love giving the best answers that I can that are pretty reliable. So, first of all, let's talk about what a rehearsal dinner is. And I got this from Wikipedia, and I'll read straight from it. A rehearsal dinner is a traditional pre wedding ceremony in the United States, usually held after the wedding rehearsal and the night before the wedding ceremony. The guests generally include the married to be couple and others whom form the wedding party. The rehearsal dinner cost is traditionally incurred by the groom's parents. However, modern traditions allow for either the bride or the groom's parents to incur this cost. The purpose of the rehearsal dinner is for the relatives and friends of the bride and groom to meet and have a good time. And the couples generally take this opportunity to thank everyone who has helped with the wedding preparations. Activities generally include toasting and a presentation of small gifts for those who have helped plan the wedding. So that's what the rehearsal dinner is usually all about. But in most cases, if you're not having a wedding party, let's say a full wedding party, you most likely have maybe a maid of honor and a best man. In that particular case, you can just have dinner with your family. If you have special guests that came in from out of town, you could plan to have dinner and just everybody gathers together. We've had, or I have seen, I should say, I've seen anything from having a barbecue after rehearsal or just going by a restaurant and just everybody's gathering at a table together. Just kind of depends on how big your family is. That's the key. And how many came in from out of town to see you that you might want to invite. Now, from the knot, they said it's fine to not have a rehearsal dinner as long as you're not having a rehearsal. Now, that's how they feel. If your wedding party is taking time to go through one, they should be treated to something. And again, it can totally be low key. It could be anything from pizza and some bottles of soda, wine, or even beers, and you can have that in your hotel room. Whatever you have, it doesn't have to cost thousands. You do have to fully host it. So a cap at the bar wouldn't work. Again, rehearsal dinners is a thank you to the wedding party for taking time out of their day and possibly taking off an extra day of work, getting a hotel for an additional night to be in your wedding. So it's just always been considered a thank you. So those are the two that I wanted to kind of give. I wanted you to know what that was all about. I mean, we've all heard it about wedding rehearsals and what some of the prominent, resources would be and how they feel and giving answers about having wedding rehearsals. Again, we've had wedding rehearsals that were small. My daughter's been in a wedding when she was younger, and we had to fly up to DC to be in that wedding. So they were kind enough to invite both myself and my husband, along with my daughter, to rehearsal dinner. And it was nice. It was probably about, I want to say, about 20 of us total. And that still could be a heck of a bill. So let's move on to her next question. I don't want cake, flowers, or lace anywhere. How do I still make it feel like a traditional wedding? Well, the first thing I want to say to you, CC, let me tell you what Wikipedia defines as a traditional wedding. A traditional wedding is the bride and groom invite all of their families and friends. During the ceremony, the bride and groom vow their love and commitment for one another with church provided vows. The officiant asks the guests if they know of any reason why the couple should not be married. Basically, that's a traditional wedding. And that's something that you always do, no matter what decor you might have, what DJ you might have at a reception. This is just the traditional purpose of a wedding. It's really for you to show and express your love to your family and friends. So you did mention, what does cutting the cake at the weddings symbolize? Well, cutting the cake from spruceeats.com says the cake cutting represents the first activity done as a couple. Although historically the bride did this act alone to symbolize the loss of her virginity. We all. And these days, the bride requires the groom assistant, and usually they do not cut the entire cake. They just leave it up to whomever is going to finish that, or maybe the catering company, or wherever you're having your reception. So that is the basis, the symbolization of having a cake. Also, from the bridal guide, since you're serving a dessert course after dinner, there's no need in having a large cake if you do not want it. Ultimately, it's your wedding. And if a cake or a dessert cutting isn't for you, then don't worry about it. Guests will be just as happy with whatever treat you have planned for them. And believe me, there's a lot of different choices, from cheesecake to different types for the traditional, not necessarily to traditional cutting, but traditional serving to your guests. So, but I did have one that I really enjoyed as I was doing the research for here. My hero is Martha Stewart's, and I love all things Martha. So I went to MarthaStewart'sWeddings.com, and I can always count on Martha to have something totally unusual. And she had 31 different choices of alternate cakes, so you wouldn't have to deal with that beautiful traditional three-tier cake. So Martha had some great ideas, and you got to check them out. She had 31 choices of things that you could choose from. But think of it, a pancake wedding cake. Simple. Cheese wheel cake for those who love cheese. Three-tier cheese wheel. A bundt cake that was really, really cute. And my one that I just went, it was a steak and potato wedding cake, and it is kind of with the concept that it's a savory design. So, and it's from one of my favorite bakers on the Food Network, which is Duff Goldman from Charm City Cakes in Baltimore. So he was the one that designed that. If you've ever watched Charm City on Food Network, Duff always had some great ideas. He's like Martha to me. If you want something different, you could create it from Martha. If you want something different for cakes, Duff is just one of the choices that you could either look at the show, or if you're in the Baltimore area, go over to Charm City, if long as they're still there in Baltimore. I do believe he has a place now in Las Vegas, but I could be wrong about that. All right, so here's one of the other questions. I don't want to wear my or his family wedding dress. What do I tell him? Now, that one is just purely simple, and you just be really honest about it. Just let him know that while it's an honor to be offered to wear the family dress, in this case, you would like to create your own traditions for your daughter, your future child, when they get married, and have your own dress. Yeah, just keep it simple. But, who knows? Your daughter might decide to go back to her grandmother's dress. But for you, you would like to have your choice. And it's nothing wrong with saying it. Don't feel guilty about it. Just, ask them if there's something else that they would like to pass on to you. But if you want your own dress, then I say go for that dress. So the other is from her. He won't wear a tux, but I want a formal wedding. So what do I do? Now, this is another one that you don't even have to get twisted. I know everybody loves seeing a man in a wonderful tux, and it just looks so wonderful. But the nice about it. And this answer here I got from Weddings Online uh, back in May of 2016. But truly, since 2016, which of course has only been 5 years ago, it has always been the same. They said six stylish ways the groom can stand out. Opt for a different suit than everybody else so you can have the guys in suits instead of tuxedos. Wear a bow tie with your suit to make it feel a little bit more formal, or go with a different color tie or bow tie. And you can wear a waistcoat. Now, waistcoat is definitely more for the morning that I would think of. And or embrace just the little details, or go for a patterned shirt. I mean, so you can do things that would make him feel comfortable and still have something that will look fabulous, fabulous in those wedding pictures. So, well, I hope I answered everyone's questions for this week. Thank you for joining us. We don't want to bore you. We just want to inform you. So don't forget to send those questions to info2 at Weddings to Infinity, or even better, join us next week. We'll see you then. And don't forget that Weddings to Infinity mantra is your event where every detail matters. So stay safe and let's keep on making COVID history. I'm ready to travel. I'm sure you are as well.